My husband is trying to do something horrible to me, and it's all because of money. But I had a little trick up my sleeve. So when he dropped those divorce papers on me, I said, "Oh no, honey, you take those divorce papers, and I'm going to give you something." Hello, people. I can't share my name for privacy reasons, so you can call me OP. I'm 30, female, and I'm in quite a predicament. And I could really use some advice and supportive comments from all the people out there. I'm confused, angry, upset, and lost, and I have nowhere else to vent. There's a lot of background info I need to share with everybody, so this is going to be a long post. To start things off, let me just say, until recently things have always been great with my husband Dill. Dill and I dated for a few years, and we just knew that we were perfect for each other. We fell in love instantly. Frankly, I could not wait for him to ask me to marry. Once he finally popped the question, I screamed yes. It was like a dream come true. The whole time I've known Dill, I thought he was sweet, caring, kind, and compassionate. He was everything a woman could dream of in a husband. I had every intention of growing old with him and having lots of children and grandchildren, but now that's all been ruined. While I was initially blind to the signs I was seeing, they were certainly there, and more red flags have been appearing over the past few months. Dill was growing distant and cold towards me, but I swept it under the rug and would make excuses for him. I would tell myself he was only acting this way because he worked long hours to support us and help us and get the income to grow. I would tell myself maybe it's my own fault that he would sometimes snap at me. Again, I would brush it all to the back of my mind because I did not want to face the truth. There were times that he would be late in the night or into the early mornings, and he would always have some excuse about working late hours. Sometimes I knew he wasn't working because he'd already told me that he had the day off. But he'd come up with some last-minute excuse about his boss calling him into work a late-night shift. I should have trusted my gut instincts. In fact, I should have trusted my gut about a lot of shady things that were going on behind my back. I never brought up the issues with Dill, and I always assumed I must be just silly and overly jealous, perhaps overprotective and controlling of Dill. But after what happened today, I'm certain this woman, Donna, had something to do with Dill's recent change in behavior. I knew the two of them were hanging out, a lot, but I found out that he was spending more and more time with her when he was supposed to be at work. He would always explain it away, dismissing me because Donna is a work colleague of my husband, so as always, Dill would just gaslight me and manipulate me into thinking I was overreacting or being silly. I pressed on with my life, ignoring the burning suspicions that consumed my mind sometimes late at night when I was lying in bed alone, wishing my husband would return home from work. Not long after Dill and Donna became friends at work, I suddenly just thought that, Dill was becoming busy all the time. Dill would cancel our date nights at the very last minute, claiming he was being called in for work. He would eventually be talking about his shift and let the details slip that Donna was the only other person on the shift with him. I didn't like the idea of these two spending so much time together, but as I said, I pushed it out of my mind. Well, as I stated, all my suspicions were true. I still don't have the proof Donna's behind this mess, but it's, a time for me to get to the gist of my story regardless. Dill shocked me and surprised me with divorce papers today. We had been married for years, and I still really don't quite understand why he wanted this. I immediately start to cry, pleading, begging for Dill to reconsider his position. He did not budge or try to console me whatsoever. It was like I was dealing with an uncaring stranger whom I've never even met before. His cold, cruel behavior and demeanor was totally unlike the Dill I thought I knew and loved. As I collected my bearings and tried to suppress the, overall ocean of tears that was streaming out of my eyeballs, I kept asking Dill over and over why he's doing this. All Dill would tell me was that he's no longer in love with me. He said it as if he had never loved me at all, and Then what he told me next made me even less sense to me. Dill told me he was going to sell my parents' house and enjoy the nice payday. I couldn't believe he was trying to make me feel even worse after dropping this horrible bombshell on me. It's funny though. When I look back, I remember all the offhanded comments Dill used to make about how, nice my parents' home was. He'd always said he'd love to live there when he was old and retired, and when my parents passed away, they both loved Dill just as much as I did, and they thought me and him would be together forever until the day one of us died. Obviously, this proved to be a huge mistake on my parents' part because in their will, they made Dill the owner of their house, since I did not have the income to be granted for house ownership by the bank. At the time, my parents thought that they were doing something nice for us, to ensure that we would both be able to use their family home whenever we wanted. It was so important to me to be able to preserve my parents' family home because I have so many important memories from growing up there, especially now that my parents are both deceased. I would often visit their old house just to feel like I was close to them. Dill is obviously a manipulator and clearly is not compassionate to people. Not like I thought he was. It's absolutely despicable that he's divorcing me and planning to sell my own parents' house. But looking back, I should have seen this coming. It seems like especially recently, once Dill and Donna started hanging out behind my back all the time, Dill started making even more comments about when he was going to, quote, retire and live in my parents' home. I guess his plan was much closer to the present day than I could have ever imagined. What a jerk. And yet, even as I type this vitriol, with the knowledge that my anger and pain is justified, I still feel a strong love for Dill. I want him back. But even in this damaged mental state, I understand that there's no going back now. The fact that Dill would even consider making a drastic and cruel move such as this one proves to me, without a shadow of a doubt, that the Dill I thought I loved is truly gone forever. My marriage is ruined and there's no saving it. I hesitated momentarily when Dill presented me with the divorce papers, all nice and neatly laid out in front of me. It was clear that he had already been consulting a lawyer and getting this divorce ironed out and planned out behind my back. All those times he told me he loved me, he was lying. He knew that he was planning to divorce me and sell my family home the entire time, but he was being a two-faced backstabber and did not have the guts to tell me. He did it all behind my back when there was nothing that I could do to stop him. I considered these unfortunate and devastating revelations as I pondered the orderly divorce document sitting right there in front of me, and I made the decision to sign the papers. The divorce is in effect as I'm typing this, and there's no going back. Dill is now my ex-husband. He left the house earlier and said that he was going to be staying at a hotel for a while until all the divorce details get suited out. He also laughed at me as cruelly added that I should probably start looking for a better job soon so I could find myself a new place to live. He reminded me that my parents' family home was no longer going to be an option, and he said he had every intention of making sure that his divorce lawyer saw to it that my name's removed from our current house's lease. This shows how much Dill cares about me. I've never done anything bad to him at all. Yet he's perfectly fine with making me a homeless person just out of spite and cruelty. I still can't wrap my head around all of this garbage. So if it's not clear from all that I've typed out here today, I could really use some advice. I've never dealt with a divorce, and I've never dealt with a blindside tragedy such as this in my life. Even the deaths of my parents I was given time to plan and prepare, since they both had terminal illnesses, but this time out of nowhere, hitting me like a large speeding bus of bricks right to the face. I know many of you are likely going to recommend I hire myself a divorce lawyer, just to combat whichever lawyer Dills were hired, but I don't have much money, and looking at lawyer prices online, it seems like they're all horribly expensive. Dill is the primary income earner in our household, and I used to have a high-paying job, but Dill is the one who convinced me to quit my job 2 years ago so I could take care of the house while he works and pays the bills. Looking back, I'm sure this was all part of his ultimate scheme, just to make me helpless and dependent on him for everything. Well, those days are over. I still love Dill, but I'm fully prepared to go to war with him, if that's what it takes to make sure he does not steal my parents' home from me. Guys, what do you suggest that I do? Update number 1. Hey everybody. So, OP here, back for another update. First, I'd like to thank you all who have left kind and supportive comments. It truly means a lot to me because I feel so alone, so isolated, and so stressed out right now. Many of you have also left some great advice as well, so again, I greatly appreciate it. I wish that I could say this was all just a bad dream, but unfortunately things just kept getting crazier. It's been a few days since my last update, and today was the first day I heard from Dill since I signed those divorce papers. When he called me on my phone earlier, I have to foolishly admit, there was a small part of me hoping Dill was calling to say he doesn't want to get divorced anymore. I know, it's silly, but the man I thought I loved just dumped me. It's going to take some time to get over him, you know? Even knowing how horrible of a person he truly is deep down inside, sure enough, asking to patch up our relationship was not the reason Dill called me on the phone today. When I answered the phone, I noticed immediately Dill's voice sounded shaky and weird. He sounded angry, but it was a different type of angry. The first thing he asked me was, "Why didn't you just tell me the truth about your parents' home?" Well, I asked him what he could have possibly have been talking about, and he mentioned the mortgage. I forgot all about that. My parents' family home was mortgaged to the hilt. Dill sounded furious and began demanding that I fix this by paying off the debt, or else he was going to be saddled up with a debt from the house. I have to admit I laughed in his face, and Dill actually began to cry on the phone. It was pathetic, but satisfying at the same time, and I have to admit it felt good to hear him cry. He vowed that he would soon find a way to get revenge on me, and then he hung up the phone. Guys, I've got a bad feeling about what's coming next, and I can tell Dill means business. Do you guys have any advice on how you would handle this? Update number 2. Hey guys, it's me again. OP back with another update, and once again, thanks to everybody who's been reading and supporting me so far. It really helps me out a lot, and I wish I could say things were getting better, but it appears I'm going to have to resort to drastic measures soon if things don't start changing for the better. Things have been bad enough lately, dealing with a divorce and this business with Dill trying to steal my parents' home from me, but what happened to me today was simply beyond the pale. I was sitting in my empty house earlier today, and I was still in my pajamas. I've been so tired and depressed, and most of the night I'm lying in bed crying over the divorce. I definitely was not prepared for the drama that was about to go down. Suddenly, I heard a loud, angry knocking on the door. Then I heard my name being called, and I immediately recognized Dill's voice, and the voice of a woman shouting in the background behind Dill, who sounded strangely familiar. I looked out my peephole and saw her standing there in the flesh. Sure enough, it was Donna standing by Dill's side. I was immediately overcome with a feeling of disgust. Without opening the door to even give them the slightest impression that I was open and willing of a discussion with those two clowns, I told them both to exit my property immediately or suffer the consequences. Well, Dill and Donna began shouting and banging on my door even louder, demanding over and over that I give them the payment for the debt Dill's incurring from the mortgaged house. I told them to keep dreaming, and they could see me in court if they wanted the money. Finally, after a few more minutes of them not leaving, I had to call the police. They left quickly after that, and the police were of no help at all since the incident was not recorded on camera. What should I do? I don't think Dill and Donna are going to stop until they get what they think I owe them. Anyways, let me know what you guys would do. Update number 3. Hey people, thank you all for reading this far. Unfortunately, I'm back with another update, and why I say that is, I wish this drama would just go away. But things keep getting worse for me. Dill and Donna keep pushing me, and I'm feeling like I'm at the end of my ropes here. First, let me tell you some information. I'm changing his name for privacy reasons, so none of you are able to identify me as the person I'm talking about. But there's a powerful, well-known lawyer in our area. His name, for the sake of the story, is going to be Jackson Goodman. He's the type of guy you hire when you mean business. I mean, he's basically never lost in court. And he's known for being highly persuasive and flamboyant, often winning the side of the jury and the judges with his charisma. If Jackson Goodman is the opposing counsel in a case, then you're basically done for. The reason this is all important for you people reading this is because Jackson Goodman is exactly who I received a letter in my mailbox from this morning. I knew Dill and Donna were absolutely livid about the debt from the mortgaged house they didn't even know about, so I did have a feeling that they were going to try to go over after me legally somehow. But I did not expect them to hire the most expensive, the most famous lawyer in our area. Now I'm truly scared. This is a small town and everybody's going to hear about this. Like I said in my previous post, I'm broke from not working and relying on Dill for so long. He was the one who told me to quit my job, and now here I am, and he's expecting me to just hand him all this money? It's completely ludicrous, but because I have no money, I can't afford a lawyer. Even the lawyers I could possibly afford would not be a match for a Jackson Goodman. According to the letter, Dill and Donna are suing me for all the debt from the house, as well as for pain and suffering and legal fees. What am I going to do to get out of this situation? Update number 4. Hey guys, OP here. I'm back again for an update, and it's been a while since my last one, and I've had a lot of people asking what the heck happened, so I wanted to check in and tell you guys what all happened and got you up to speed. So much has actually been happening, and I've been so busy, but now I want to let you all know what exactly has been going on in my life. Many of you suggested that I go ahead and hire a private investigator. Since I can't afford a lawyer, I've decided to take the advice and research local PIs in the area. I won't reveal his name for legal reasons, but I found a guy who's great. He's affordable but not cheap, and he gets the job done. I asked him to find some dirt on Dill and Donna that could help me with my court case. My private investigator found evidence of Dill's infidelity in my own home. Apparently, the evidence has been sitting right in front of me this whole time. He asked me which computer in the house Dill used the most of, and he decided to take a look at the computer's history there. He found where Dill was still logged into Facebook, as well as his bank account. There, it was all revealed. There was tons of proof that Dill and Donna were already dating behind my back, while Dill and I were married. I was shocked and hurt by the evidence, but I knew it would help me in court later. This big court day, along is, well, what I was waiting on, so I asked my private investigator to tag along and help compile information for me to present at the court. Of course, Jackson Goodman immediately started his flamboyant act and began defaming me, making up lies about what an awful abusive person I am. But once me and my private investigators revealed all the photographic evidence of Dill's infidelity, I could see the court's opinion being swayed. Suddenly, it became clear that Dill and Donna were merely trying to swindle me out of my parents' family home. You should have seen the look on Jackson Goodman's face. He was obviously not accustomed to losing, because he looked like he was about to cry. The judge read the verdict to the courtroom and declared that both Dill and Donna were responsible for paying me back for the house, as well as paying off the mortgage debts that Dill incurred as the owner of the home. The judge also ruled that Dill and Donna were to pay me back for the legal fees and the court fees. Sure enough, just like on the phone when Dill called me a while ago, he starts bawling like a baby, right there in front of everybody. He deserved it. I thought I would feel bad seeing Dill cry like a baby, but as much as he made me cry in the past few weeks, he deserved this humiliation. Final update. Hey there, people of the internet. This is OP yet again, and I'm back for a final update. A lot of you have been asking what happened next since the court date, and I've been meaning to get on here and tell you all the details, but I'm afraid I've just been too busy living my new life. That's right, I found a great guy, and we've been dating for a little bit. He's made me forget about Dill.
Dill found out I had a new boyfriend and started harassing me again, and I was able to get a judge from our divorce case to grant me a restraining order. Now, if Dylan or Donna gets within 1,000 feet of me, of my home too, well, all I'll have to do is call the police and they'll both be arrested immediately. Justice sure is sweet. And my new boyfriend has done everything he can to make me feel better about all this drama. I feel safe and secure in his arms, and I don't believe he would ever betray me the way Dill so cruelly chose to. In case any of you were wondering about the fate of my parents' old home that Dill and Donna were trying to steal from me, that's where I'm living now. The old house me and Dill used to live in simply reminded me too much of our relationship and all the bad memories and drama that went along with it, so I needed a change of scenery. Since there's no debt and the house was entirely paid off, I'm now the rightful owner of the family home, which is the way my parents intended things to be. I'm living there with my new boyfriend and life is going good. I know if my parents were alive to see me, they would have supported me and they would have been so proud of me standing up to Dill's abusive manipulation and cruel behavior. Last but not least, I would like to thank every one of you right here on this thread for reading this story every update and sticking with me and leaving me the greatest advice the entire time. I could not have made it through all this without your help. Thanks again.
Well, it worked out for OP. In the end of the story, we found out about the restraining order for Dill and Donna. And OP has a new boyfriend and is seeming to live her life the way she wants to live it. Guys, I would love to hear from you if you were in OP's position and you know exactly what's going on in her life. How do you handle this with the ex and all that's going on with Dill and Donna? Drop your comments downstairs in our comment section, guys. Let's discuss this one. Also, let's discuss how Jackson Goodman lost. Oh yeah, take that, Jackson. Anyways, my name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate stories every single day. Dramatic stories like today that include inheritance dramas, in-law disputes, mother-in-law stories, Karen in the wild, cheating stories, you name it, we cover it. If you want to support the channel, subscribe to it, hit that bell notification icon, drop a comment, drop a like. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember though, it's cool to be kind. See ya.